All right, Techno Studs, we've covered a lot of cool aspects around cryptocurrency, but there are some problems as well. So I hate to bring the energy level down and really talk about the downside of cryptocurrency, but there is a huge downside and we have to address it. So let's jump into the problems with cryptocurrency. There's a few of these I'm going to cross off the list right from the get-go because we've already talked about it. For instance, forks, we've already talked about it, and there are some technology advancements that are helping us get around that. There's also the power consumption, and we talked about how bad proof of work is from a power consumption, but proof of stake also takes quite a bit of power as well. We also talked about how many coins are out there. The fact that there's over 23,000 coins out there is just crazy. There's no need for that many, and it's growing every single day. And one of the reasons is because there are so many get-rich schemes planned out there. There's a lot of scammers out there that are just trying to make a quick buck. A lot of these are just Ponzi schemes. So it's causing a lot of problems. So also we have hackers. This is a technology that can be hacked and has been hacked as well. So there are people out there, malicious people out there trying to do harm to the system. Even within the parameters that are given, there are still people that are leveraging cryptocurrencies to bankrupt people and cause problems out there. There's also one thing that can be leveraged, and why there's hackers out there is because there's code bugs. There are code releases, there are code upgrades, there are code vulnerabilities that are out there with this. And those have been leveraged before, which causes problems. Also, people have lost their wallets with this. So there are codes, there are wallets, there are ways that you track which Bitcoins you own, which alternate coins you own, how you own these coins. And if you lose access to that, there's no one to go to get that back. You are just out of luck. And there are millions and millions and millions of dollars that have been lost by people because they've lost access to their wallet. Another thing that is the fact that it's decentralized. There are a lot of advantages to being decentralized. That is why a big reason why we have these cryptocurrencies. But also being decentralized means there isn't that single point that you can go to and say, hey, I lost access, get it back. If you were to go to a bank and say, hey, I've lost access or had a problem with a transaction, you could fight it. You could take them to court. There are steps you can take with it. You can't do that with cryptocurrency. There is no one entity that's in charge of that. And so if you lose money with it, you're just out that money, which is a big problem. Another thing is that with fiat currency, one thing that we're trying to overcome is that hyperinflation that happens. But there is also a lot of instability with cryptocurrencies. There's a lot of up and downs, making it less viable as an option. There's also a lack of regulation out there. Regulation is out there to protect people. So cryptocurrency, one of the things that it wants to do is avoid a lot of regulation. That's one of the powers in being decentralized, being separate from everything else. But there's a downside to that as well. The fact that there isn't any kind of government that's regulating this, that puts some parameters around this, mean that it opens up a lot of problems with this. And speaking of government too, there's no intrinsic value in this. There's not like there's gold that's backing this up to create some sort of validity to it, or even in a fiat currency where there's no commodity behind it, there is still a country behind it. Like the US dollar has a country behind it, or many, many countries really. There are a lot of currencies out there that are backed by a government, and the government doesn't want to see their currency fail. It causes all sorts of problems, and so they're going to do things to protect it. Also along the lines with government is that a lot of this stuff is hard to tax. And we may say, well, we want to pay less taxes anyways, and so we're just going to do that. But what it just does is it makes the honest people are going to pay the tax, and it's the dishonest people that aren't going to pay the tax. And we need those taxes to a certain degree. It gives us certain protections and certain things that we have under our country, which also creates an imbalance of wealth. There's a lot of imbalance of wealth that can happen when you have a system that's unregulated, that's uncontrolled, that allows people to leverage that being anonymous out there allows them to take advantage of the system. And you're going to see more and more of that causing an imbalance of wealth. And then also there's this visibility. What's interesting is one of the powers behind cryptocurrency is that we say that it's anonymous and you can make transactions and it's not tied to anybody, which is true to a certain degree. But the flip side is once you're found out, once you're tied to an account, all of your transactions are found out. Everybody can see all the transactions that are happening. They can see the whole ledger. And governments and other agencies are really good at being able to pinpoint certain people with certain transactions. All you need to do is buy something with some sort of coin that gets shipped to your house, and now there's some sort of trail that leads you to you. And so there is a visibility concern with this, even though that's reported as one of the strengths of cryptocurrency. So as you can see, there's lots of problems that we have to watch out for when it comes to cryptocurrency. It's not just a slam dunk. There are things that we have to be careful for. In fact, I'm going to recall why we implemented cryptocurrency to begin with. Why did we create it? Why did we start going down this journey? And one of the reasons is because it's decentralized and all of the advantages of a decentralized system. Although we all just discovered that there are disadvantages as well. And then inflation protection, the fact that we can implement certain technologies to protect us against inflation, but there's still a volatility that comes with it. There's a transaction speed that happens that can be much faster, but also as we saw, it can actually be pretty slow, 10 minutes before some of these transactions get implemented, and there's limits to how many transactions we can have. So where's the speed in that? There's a cost effectiveness with these transactions as we can make these transactions across the country without having bank fees. But we also see that with time, there's things like with Ethereum, there's gas fees and there's transaction fees that happen within these different coins that actually do cost money and do take some coinage or fraction of coins to pay the people who are data mining, or not data mining, but who are doing the Bitcoin mining and doing the mining for these different alternative coins. And then we also have that transparency, and we saw the pros and cons to that transparency. So the real question is there more pros or are there more cons? And you're going to have to answer that. But I would say that there is a significant amount of problems that are involved with cryptocurrency and things that you should at least give you pause when you're thinking about investing into it or using it, things that you have to consider as you go down this route.